Hi everyone, Ellen here, and welcome to Washington Watercolor. These colorful buoys, along with the cedar shake shingles, typical of a New England scene, are my inspiration for today's tutorial. In this video, I'll give you tips on drawing. Next, I'll talk about masking. Painting texture is easy, and I'll show you my simple approach to paint wood grain. Finally, I'll show you how to create the cylindrical form of these buoys and make them pop by adding a cast shadow. Before I start, here's a list of the paints I'll be using. I'll begin by drawing out the buoys. My marks are a bit light, but I'll darken them shortly. I take the liberty to make the body of the buoys a bit larger and the stick handle a little shorter. I add the ropes and indicate the form and cast shadow. Using a ruler, I indicate the horizontal lines of the shingles. Then I'll indicate the vertical lines that define each shingle. My drawing may not be exact to the photo, it just needs to be believable. Finally, I add the cast shadow, making sure that it follows the topography of the shingles. Next, I apply Pebeo Drawing Gum masking fluid around the inside edge of the buoys, including the rope. This will free up my hand and make painting the background much easier. For this painting, I use my brush to apply it. I pre-treat my brush in a Soapy Solution before dipping it into the masking fluid. I'll do about 3 passes before treating it again. Once it's dry, I'll paint the background. I prepare my colors, which include yellow ochre, burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, and Winsor violet. I wet the paper and float in the colors, working wet into wet paint. I'll tilt the paper in different directions to help spread the paint. Once fully dry, I'll use a fan brush and a ruler to paint vertical lines of the wood grain. I force the hairs on the brush to separate and use a very watered down purplish mixture. Burnt sienna and ultramarine blue with less water creates a really nice dark color. I use a flat brush and scoot along the bottom edges of the shingles and then the vertical separations. Adding a bit more water, I add a cast shadow under each horizontal edge. I soften it with a bit of water. Using the same brush, I add a few more details. I'm pretty happy with the background, so I'll dry it and then remove the masking fluid using a rubber cement eraser. I'll begin painting the buoy on my left. I'll start with the light stripe and add paints including Winsor lemon, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, and ultramarine blue. I want this to look round, so I'm keeping the left side lighter and progressively darkening the right. I didn't pre-wet this, but I'm working very quickly so the paint evenly spreads into each other. I'll also pick up touches of Winsor violet and Winsor blue too. I pick up some yellow and add it to the worn areas. And then I paint the stick handle. Using Winsor orange, I paint the rope on the left. I make sure the paper is dry, and then I pick up some Winsor blue, ultramarine blue, and Winsor violet, and paint the buoy on the left. I keep in mind that the right side is light, meaning more water, and the left side is dark, meaning less water. I add some Winsor violet too, to the shadowed side. Working down the buoy, I add some Winsor violet to the light stripe and then repeat the process of adding blues in the lower section. Now it's time for the red buoy. I ready up some Winsor orange and some Winsor red. I'll use Winsor purple for the shadowed side. I'll leave little spaces for the worn textural spots. I work extremely fast, wanting the colors to nicely blend together. Once the red buoy is dry, I'll paint the third buoy, starting off with some Winsor lemon, sap green, and Winsor blue. I'll darken the shadowed area with perylene green and some Winsor blue. I'll use the same combination of colors that I used for the red buoy. I'll make sure the top half has dried before painting this area. I'll paint in the underneath ellipse and the stick handle. And then using Winsor red and perylene green, move on to the other ellipse. Dipping into some ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, I'll paint the rings, and with Winsor lemon and purple, the rope. In taking a closer look at my painting, I feel I should darken the values on the buoys, especially the shadows. I'll add more details to the ropes too. I mix up a big batch of my ultramarine blue and burnt sienna combo. I'll use this to paint my cast shadow. If you're painting along, you will need to mix up a lot. I paint in the cast shadows on the green buoy as well. I really like how this is coming along, but I feel that my cast shadow needs to be darker, so I'll repeat the process. I continue to darken areas of my painting. As I'm nearing the end of my painting, I hope you really enjoyed watching my painting process. Please remember to like and subscribe, since it will really help out my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and happy painting!